I'm back here again with Dr. Sildel Legrand and with a community activist and advocate and a mother of 5 wonderful children. And we're here again to address the transition of returning back to our public schools and the choices that our parents have are weighing in the balance. And Dr. Sildel has a solution to this crisis in our educational system as it pertains to Pinellas County. So without further ado, I just want to give Dr. Sildel the platform and let her share information about herself and the vision.
Thank you so much, Miss Denise. I tell you, it's warriors like you that we all need in our community. I'm so grateful that you have given us an opportunity to sort of bring a solution to the table in regards to sending our children back to school in the midst of a pandemic. And the interesting thing is that as a community and as a Black community, this is really producing what I would consider a perfect storm for disaster for our community. And so I really wanted to talk to you and others in the community about a solution that I believe will make a difference for the community as a whole, as far as St. Pete is concerned, but particularly the Black community, particularly that community which is usually marginalized, which is usually disenfranchised, which is usually the last to be considered. It is that community that I'm most concerned about because it's my community. I want to invite those who are listening, to comment as you are listening to us on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever. I'd like for you to just, even if you're not voicing your opinion via this link, you can certainly voice it in the chat room in the comment area there, and you can say what you want to say. So we invite you to do that. Let me just share with you why we're having this conversation. Who am I and why am I here and what am I doing? Well, I'm a family practice physician. I've been a doctor for over 30 years. I love taking care of families. I always have. I believe in taking care of the whole person, spirit, soul, and body. I love Jesus with all my heart. So let me just go ahead and tell you that. I love him. Holy Spirit leads me on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis. I am that person. So I just want to make sure those of you who are listening understand that everything that we do as an organization, and when I say we, I'm talking about changing the game for a new generation. And you can see at the bottom of your screen as a little ticker banner there, the website. And the website is there for you to peruse, to look at, to see what our mission, our vision is, and what our programs are. All of our programs, the 2 major ones, are focused on children. And so that is why CTG Academy has come about. And as a physician, I'm concerned from a medical standpoint. As a grandparent, I'm concerned from a social standpoint. As a citizen, I am concerned that our leaders in the community is allowing this to happen. And I'm saying that not to bash any human being, any person, any position. That is not my purpose here. None of us are here to do that. What I am saying is that sometimes if you need something done, you probably need to do it yourself. And so here we are at a place where we need to do this ourselves. And we do have the capacity, because you're listening. We have the capacity. We have the authority, because we're talking about our children. We have the ability. And so therefore, we need to do it. And so that's why I'm here. So Ms. Denise, thank you so much for allowing us to have this platform. You are the leader here as far as what we're doing, because I am new to this community. I'm coming from Orlando, Florida, grew up in Tampa, Florida. Would drive over the bridge every chance I get to come to the beaches, but I never really got to know St. Pete until last year, working in some of the transformation schools, zone schools, with our Project I Am program, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So you have any particular things you want to talk about before because I can talk, so I don't want to take over here.
Yeah.
Anything, and also Kanithra, you as well.
Yes. Yeah. Questions for Dr. Sildel? not to put you on the spot, because I can share some things while you think about it.
No, I don't have any questions. I just wanted to listen to what your ideas were around reopening, having 5 kids. You know, I've chosen my PCS as our option because COVID is real. It's impacted some family members and caused some loss. So anytime I get an opportunity to engage with like-minded, spiritual-driven believers, to help better myself as a parent, raising 5 children, I take that opportunity, and I really humbly am blessed to have Miss Denise in my life. She is a blessing and a prayer warrior, and I appreciate the invite.
Thank you so much. Before you say anything, Miss Denise, and I remember I said you are a warrior, and you ain't taking no prisoners.
No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing, and I might bring offense to people. I'm really apologize. I apologize because it's never my heart to attack people or feel like they're being judged or anything that way. But my passion is great, and when I can see things, sometimes I'm having to learn that you can't always say what you see, and because I'm looking at things from a spiritual lens, not just with my natural eyes. And it's only by God's grace that He allows me to see. And I have to be patient that people don't see what I see. So I just keep trying to explain things as I see them, what can benefit and help our kids, what is helping our children, and I push through until it happens. But I was grateful because what you're doing resonated with me. But a lot of times there is pushback, and I'm not sure. So maybe you can help me. I'm asking people to define what they mean by organizations are not collaborating, or that they need to collaborate more, or like, what are you going to bring to our community? Like, you're an outsider. Let me be the devil's advocate.
Right.
We can solve our own problems. So what are you going to come to bring to St. Pete? And matter of fact, why are you even here?
Exactly. Well, that's a good question. And I'm here because on assignment, to be honest with you. I'm here on assignment. Coming 2 years ago to the Pinellas County Schools, working with Miss Brim with the Transformation Zone, Dr. Brim, having an opportunity to see that the problem I see in South St. Pete, I see in communities across this nation. It's the same situation. It's a same problem, different location. But as a people, we're dealing with the same problems nationwide. Actually, I could say globally, because I've been to Ghana. So globally, I can see the same situation, the same problems. What I would say, first of all, let me just very briefly do 2 things. Number one, let me answer your question. Why am I here? I came here to address this issue. I know that was the primary reason, but I also came here to open a practice. I am a primary care physician. I also do pain management. And that's something that a lot of people stay very far away from because of all of the negative connotations associated with that. But the bottom line is there are people in real pain that need intervention. I don't shoot them up with needles. I don't do stuff that really doesn't work anyway. I give them medication to help them. I also take care of their whole families. I take care of their babies and their grandmamas and everybody else, whether they have a cold or whether they have cancer. So I am a primary care physician. I also do pain management. I'll be opening a practice on 34th Street South. So that's one of the questions answered. I bring myself with the passion that I share with you, Denise. I share that passion for our children. Changing the game for new generation shares that passion. And so what we would like to do, and this is what we propose to do, because this is the answer to the question that everybody wants to know. So what do you plan to do about it? Well, I'm not doing anything about it. We can do a lot. We can do a lot. This is the idea. And then I need you all who carry a piece of the puzzle, because regardless of what your place is in life, whatever it is you're doing, if you're listening to this, I guarantee you that's something you can contribute. And we're not talking about money all the time. We're talking about who you are, who you know, what you can do. Those are the kinds of things that we need to make this happen. So let me tell you what we want to do. The problem of going back to school in the midst of a pandemic clearly is the spread of infection. Our children, who are more likely to be in a household with someone who's susceptible to getting the virus will be exposed to dozens, if not hundreds, of other children on a daily basis. And so what that does is put them at much higher risk for getting the virus. Now they're saying, okay, wear masks. Well, what we're focusing on primarily are elementary school children, K through 5. Now, if any of you all have ever seen a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, how long do you think that mask is going to stay on? I'm just saying. How long are we going to beat them for not wearing their masks? Are we going to scream and holler at them and further traumatize them for not wearing their masks? These are the kinds of things that's just not realistic to think that our children, any child, that of elementary school age is going to be able to fulfill all of the requirements that's needed for social distancing. It's nearly impossible. And so what happens is that children are going to get infected. According to the CDC, 30% of our children in the state are already infected. So, I mean, if you extrapolate how that has most likely affected the Black community, I'm sure it's much higher than 30%. And so what we're dealing with is the option of going to a brick and mortar school and getting infected and bringing it back to our families, or staying at home with virtual schooling. Homeschooling is fantastic. And I understand, Ms. Denise, you are the guru of homeschooling. And so I understand the beauty of that. But unfortunately, there are many parents who cannot stay at home for virtual schooling with their children, whether it's homeschooling or virtual schooling. They can't be at home, especially with elementary school age children. Not to mention that many of our homes don't have Wi-Fi, or not very good Wi-Fi. Not to mention that many of our parents may be pretty good with their phone on Facebook, but they're not the best necessarily with the digital platforms that they would have to be, acquainted with to be able to fulfill the assignments with their children, upload assignments, and things that they may not be able to navigate. So these are the problems that we're facing. So what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that the options that Pinellas County has given, those 3 options, basically is not 3 options for someone who's working or unable to manage 2 or 3 children at their kitchen table with 1 computer. So therefore, we are asking, let's make another option. And the other option is take that virtual school to another outside facility outside the home. We call it a stay safe classroom. Stay safe classroom. How will we do that? We limit the number of children that's in that space. We'll have about 1,000 square feet with no more than 9 to 10 children in that space. We have designed the desks to be the right amount apart without causing isolation for our children. We'll have 2 learning coaches in that space. Now, the K-5 program will be fueled or powered by a company called K-12, who provides the curriculum, provides the teachers, and all we have to do is monitor the children and, of course, add the things that I believe would make it better for our children. Because you see, small classrooms is something I believe we need anyway. And the program that I told you about, Project I Am with Changing the Game, it requires, and what that is an intervention that we really designed to be during the school day of our children. It's an intervention. Many of you who are listening here may remember back in the 80s, there was the DARE program that was started in the 80s, but it continued until very recently in history. We're talking several decades of a program that started in the 80s to as an intervention for drug use. It was a Don't Say No to Drugs program that was like on the political wind of Don't Say No to Drugs in the Reagan administration. Those of you who are old enough to remember that. That went on for decades. And what I'm saying is that program touched every child in this country and all of our territories. I believe that if we're going to change a generation, we've got to touch that generation. So Project I Am is that program that can touch a generation if it's allowed to. So what I want to be able to do, and what we do with Project I Am, is very simple. We just intercede and intervene in the lives of our children. many of whom are traumatized on a regular basis, many of whom sometimes don't even know where they're going to sleep that night, some of whom, and most have only one parent, usually the mother in the household, all kind of things that's occurring in their neighborhoods that children should never see. These are the things that our children take to school and then expected to act like everything is okay. So Project I Am is designed to intervene in that life. It is like an intervention for our babies. So that, and so this program is run by retired teachers. That's the primary persons that we love to work with our children because they know the system. They know the falls of the system. They know the failures of the system, and they don't want to continue to fail our children. So they understand, and so they do well as those people who work with our children. And we're talking 1 hour to twice a week. It's an intervention for the public schools. That's what we want to do. So what we're going to do with our little school, CTG Academy, our classrooms that are small because COVID requires them to be small. That's the only way we can cut down on the infection rate. In this 10-person classroom, you have 2 adults that's there to talk to our children, love on our children, tutor our children. Project I Am is there. We use the arts mostly. So children will create, their own spoken word projects. They'll create their own visual art projects. They'll be able to express how they feel in ways that is not judgmental. Can you just imagine? I mean, this is like tailor-made for our kids. I mean, nobody wants to see coronavirus exist, and we want it to go away. But in this bad situation, look at how the good can come of it, because this is forcing us to do what we need to do anyway for our kids. They need our attention. They need our love. And so that's what we're going to do with CTG Academy. We're going to have up to 50 children because this is a pilot. So if you really think your child could benefit from this, I need you to go to the website that you see right there. And there's a form you can fill out to let us know that you're interested. It's really important because as soon as we get the kids, we have to get a location. Of course, that's one of the main things we gotta do is have a location. So, once we get these things taken care of, I want to move forward and put everything the way it's supposed to be. And I'm saying the next 2 or 3 weeks so that you can send your baby to CTG Academy. Will it cost you? If you already qualify for food stamps, if you're already qualified for a step-up program, you are not in a position right now to pay anybody's tuition. This is free. This is free to you. So you need to make it your point to go ahead and let us know that you're interested. Where is this going to be? Well, now that's going to depend upon those who are listening to me right now, because that's one of the main things we need is a location. So I need you all who are listening to me right now to please, please, please remember that we need a location. The number one thing we need is a location. And the second thing we need are volunteers, because we need people to help us make this happen. So, Ms. Denise, I've talked a lot. Is there anything else you want to add? There's more to say, but I'm just saying.
Yes, I appreciate I'm echoing.
Yeah, you're echoing.
So, to be clear, your vision is to have a location, a host site for you to serve at least 50 students, but you'll need 5 classrooms for a minimum of 1,000 square feet so you can space the children appropriately. And the class size will be 10.
Yes.
The target children are kindergarten through 5th grade, correct?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. And then I remember our last conversation, you did share with the parents that nothing comes to school and nothing goes home. Like your specialization with your background and as being a doctor. So I remember that you said part of your collaboration is that you're only not looking for support, but you're going to also show people who would like to model what you do, like right. in their churches. They could create the same model in their churches, and you would show them the desk design, how to set up, how to space.
Uh-huh.
Is it possible to do workshops
Oh,
for families to find
absolutely.
out what they need. And,
Uh-huh.
I know I spoke with a pastor today who has a burden for the children as well, and I was trying to explain to him that the family just expresses what their need is, or by the Holy Spirit, you can tell what people's needs are. And I just believe the same way you would take care of your people and your own family is the same way you take care of the community. It's just provide the space, a host site of 1,000 square feet, a classroom in your church
Uh-huh.
to serve 10 children that are using, I think Kanithra even said she's using the virtual PCS platform. But we're here to provide academic support for those that can do it.
Uh-huh.
For those that can do it. Uh, we need your help to serve our children. We're taking ownership of the education of our children. And
Right.
it's one way to do that. It's not the only way, but
Right.
it is one way. And I don't know why my face went like sideways, like where did I go? Here I am. But
I
yeah.
changed the thing. So
Oh, you changed the view. Yeah. So anyway, but you were very, as always, very passionate with what you want to do, and so you're sharing that your partnership or collaboration is with the K-12,
right.
the curriculum and the teachers, and then you still need the support with volunteers for
Right.
everything that goes with running a small school. I don't know.
Right.
It's running a school. It's still gonna be the same whether it's one child or 10 or 500. You still need administration. You still need the people
Absolutely.
to answer the phone and to respond back to the emails and just
Uh-huh.
make it
So
seamless. So
just to put that in perspective, what you're saying is absolutely so true. In doing the budget, we basically have it's close to close to $500,000. Literally, is what it would cost to do what it is we're doing. Not even including the $300,000 investment that K-12 is giving us for 50 children. Because they're also providing the hardware as well, the computers. So in order to have the administration, you have a program director, you have a medical director, you have teachers for 5 classrooms. So that's 5 people plus hopefully 5 more volunteers and plus others. You have basically if we're paying rent, like commercial rent, that's where most of that money it would be going. So by getting a facility that would allow us not to have to pay rent, or at least a very small amount, would cut that budget down. Because as it stands, the only paid employees, everybody is going to be in kind. All the professionals involved, that would be myself. The certified teacher that would be on staff would be doing it for this first year out of the goodness of her heart. So I do have people who are helping me on my end that will help decrease that budget. But on the end of location, I need the community to help me with that one. I mean, we're putting in as an organization about $150,000 to make this project happen. That is coming from us and from me, basically. Yes. And so what we need to say is, we all have a piece of the puzzle, and is it worth it? Yeah. We're talking about our children. We're talking about our future. We're talking about our present. We're literally talking about our present, because our children are our present and our future. So I believe that if enough of us, if you have any ideas, I understand there's a Walmart in Midtown that needs somebody to enter into it and do something wonderful. That's something that we should do, for next year, of course. But for this year, if you are in a church that schools are closed because of COVID, put it to some use, because what we will do is transform your classrooms into stay safe classrooms. And I can show you how to do that, by the way, as Denise mentioned. And, I have 2 infectious disease physicians that I talk to on a regular basis. They're the specialists. I'm primary care, and basically, like I said, like I told Denise earlier, it's not rocket science, but it is science. So it is important to understand. And so one of the cool things about this concept is that we'll have not only Project I Am as another program that is will be a part and added to the K-12 K-5 curriculum. But in addition to what it is, in addition to what we'll be doing, sort of a wraparound type service, would be what we call personal protection education. And now, what that means is that we will have children understand better what infections are, what's the difference between a virus and a bacteria, why you can treat bacteria with medication like antibiotics, but viruses don't be treated with antibiotics. They are not affected by it. How infections spread, hand washing and why that's important. We'll make hand washing fun because we already got a rap and a beat to it. So the kids will have a good time in their 30 seconds of hand washing. These are the kind of things that we will do to help our children understand, this new world that they are now living in. Because coronavirus may disappear at some point, but it won't be the end of public health problems. So we need to understand, and we need to teach our children. And this 21st generation child needs to understand that global infection is real, and how to protect themselves and how to protect their own families is really important. So we will be doing that as one of the primary wraparound programs, in addition to Project I Am, for our children in South St. Pete. And I need you all, because you carry a piece of this puzzle. It's not just me. It's not just Miss Diane. Each and every one of you all hold a piece to this puzzle we call solution. And I'm just trying to see, what piece do you have? Let's see if it fits. I know you got a piece. And we need you. We need you.
And we Dr. Sadell, can you please give us an idea of what your anticipated start date is for your school?
August 24th. We want to start when school starts.
Okay.
I need to find the location like this week. And see, plan B is spend the money and get what do you call it? Storefront. Spend the money. I mean, it is what it is. This is gonna get done. Okay?
Right.
Regardless of anybody who will listen to us today,
right,
choose not to be a part of it, it's gonna get done. Trust me on that. I have that on a high authority.
Yes.
It's gonna get done.
And I appreciate that you're willing to do this and invest $150,000 of your own money to launch it, to move forward. And a lot of times when we want to solve problems in the community, we're always looking for someone else to pay for it. And that goes back to ownership too. And it's like, what are we willing to sacrifice for projects like yours, or anything, any vision that people are carrying and wanting to birth? You have to be willing to pay a price in your time and your money. Either you're providing the service for free to the community, or and then at the same time you're building it. You're building your vision. You're building Changing the Game Academy.
Absolutely.
It has to start with the person, and then we come alongside Dr. Sadell, and I come alongside of many other people that have visions that they are birthing or have birth, and we nurture it. We celebrate it and we nurture it. So when we talk about collaboration in the community, there is a lot of collaboration going on in the community. I do know who's doing what and when and who to go to. And we do it together. And it's nice to just have another person in our community with like passion to help our babies.
Absolutely.
And it takes a village. So
It does, and that's what I was about to say. It takes a village, and thank you so much, Ms. Denise, for saying that. And one of the things that I want everyone to understand that I just got an update as to our status in regards to a community in regards to COVID. As of July 13th, we're talking Black people in Pinellas County are 3 times more likely to be COVID-19 positive than whites. And those who test positive, Blacks are nearly 2.5 times more likely to be hospitalized. So across Florida, Blacks are 1.5 times more likely to die from COVID than whites. And so these are the kind of things when we see these numbers, we see these statistics, but yet, you want to send our children to school in the midst of this. And so what's happening is just like with any other health condition and chronic health problem, we are disproportionately represented, whether it's hypertension, whether it's diabetes, whether it's certain cancers, we're the ones that are disproportionately represented. And so COVID-19 is no different. And a lot of times people ask me, why is that? I mean, we're just with a little history, we're the strongest of the strong. We are the ancestors of people who came here, many of them, not all, but many of them came on slave ships and suffered through that Middle Passage and made it and got here. We may have come on different boats, but we all came to either here in the United States or in South America or in the islands, whatever the case may be. Our home is Africa, and I believe that we need to understand that once here, there's a difference in how things happen here in the Americas. And slavery, as Africans knew it, was nothing like slavery that happened here in the Americas. And so the kind of trauma and stress that our ancestors dealt with did not stop when slavery ended. So stress is like a huge component to the life of Black people. Stress affects us physically. Stress changes things in our body. It changes our immune system. It affects our blood pressure. It affects our heart rate. It changes us, and it puts us more at risk for every disease under the sun. So if people, if I don't have to explain that to us, but some people don't understand that just being Black is stressful. Some people don't get that. Driving while Black is stressful. I cringe if when police comes behind me. Anybody else out there feel the same way? My heart starts beating really fast if a police drives behind me, and Lord knows don't let him put his lights on. These are the kinds of things that are like part of our DNA. If you get a Black child and a white child in a room, and they're standing there, let's say a 4-year-old, and you let a dog in that room, what's the likelihood of that Black child running behind his mama's skirt and the white child going to pet the dog? The Black child is going to most likely not respond, going to run after that dog. Most children are going to revert back. Adults will too. Black men, when they see a dog, I have friends right now that if there's a dog in my house, they won't come in. So there's this, and you ask the question, well, what is it about dogs? Well, think about our history. Think about what happened during slavery. Think about what dogs played during that time. Understand that kind of trauma over generations, there's something called genetic memory.
Wow.
Okay? There is something called genetic memory. So you have to understand that there are things that happen to us as a people over generations, affects us today. Okay? So you ask the question, why do we have high blood pressure so much? We're stressed to the max. Our children are stressed. Children come to school on edge, not knowing whether or not what they're going to find when they get back home sometimes. And they're angry because they don't like how their mother was treated by her boyfriend last night and can't do anything about it. And so when Johnny says something to him that out of sight of his neck, he wants to fight, because if he can't fight his mama's boyfriend, he's going to fight his friend. So we then ask ourselves the question, what's wrong with our children? Oh, come on. We've got to understand. We've got to understand who we are. We've got to understand what is affecting us as individuals, what is affecting us as a people. And when we have a better understanding of that, then we'll know what to do about it. So that's what we plan to do with Changing the Game.
You keep it real.
Absolutely.
Can you bring clarification, because you're really passionate when you say that we plan on sending our kids back to school, a brick and mortar building, but at the same time, you're a brick and mortar. So what's different? Explain to the parents the difference.
Absolutely. So it's not as much about the building as the fact of who's in the building. Going back to school, you're going back to a classroom, even though they are making changes with trying to do smaller classes, etc. But they're just kind of rotating those smaller classes, not really understanding how infections spread. Now, I know I pray that the Pinellas County Public School has some physicians to help them make these changes and decisions and educate the teachers, and I'm sure they did that. I mean, I don't have any knowledge of it, but I pray that they did that. But what will be different with Changing the Game Academy is that you will have a classroom of only 9 to 10 children. 9 to 10. That's it. In a complete, that whole class. It'll be 2 adults and what we call learning coach, and then a volunteer to help the learning coach. Now, what will happen is K-12 will be providing the virtual schooling. So the child will be sitting at a desk with a computer, learning whatever the teacher is teaching. The learning coaches will be in the classroom to help facilitate that learning process that's happening with the computer and the teacher, making sure the child understands what the teacher is saying, making sure the child fulfills their assignments that the virtual school is giving them, making sure that those assignments are uploaded properly so that they get the proper credit. And now the key is that everything that comes to this classroom, and the children come to this classroom, they don't take anything home. Nothing comes in the classroom except them. Nothing leaves the classroom. That's one way that we'll protect our children and their families. When they enter the classroom, they will have have an apron that is their color. When I say their color, each child will be color coded, which means Johnny may be blue, LaQuanda will be red, Jamal will be orange, and so everything that they have will be that color. Their pencils will be that color. Their notebooks will be that color, so that Jamal and LaQuanda will not have any excuse about who got my pencil. And there won't be any kind of cross-contamination because you do not have that color, LaQuanda. Give Johnny his pencil back. It's real simple. Or, no, you don't have that color, LaQuanda. Give me that pencil because now it has to be sanitized.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha.
So each child will have a little apron on, like you see with arts and crafts the kids have, and it'll be their color. Okay. That comes off at the end of the day, stays in the classroom, and we, the adults, sanitize them. The classroom will be cleaned and sanitized every single day after every class. When the children come back, they don't bring anything back with them. They don't bring pens, papers, they don't bring notebooks, they don't bring lunch, they don't bring anything like that, because everything will be there for them. So that's how it has to be done. Washing hands will happen throughout the day, and they'll have this cute little rap and music beat to go along with that. Everything will be age appropriate and age specific in the teaching of our children in regards to personal protection education. So what we teach kindergartners, we'll teach 5th graders, but it'll just be in a little different way. So thank God I have teachers that work with me. I have a kindergarten teacher of 30-something years that's part of Changing the Game and one of our consultants, and she will help us design. Right. Our primary teacher for Project I Am is a principal and teacher of 30 something years,
Wow.
that has been retired for the last couple of years, been working with us pretty much full time. My sister has been teaching even out in the South Pacific for years. She has a PhD in theater. I can go on and on. So I have all of these. God has given me all of these people. So I'm not standing here just talking like I can do all this. No, I can't. But God has given me people like you to help make it happen. So we have the core. We just need to add those key things like location, like volunteers, like whatever it is we can, whatever it is you have to offer, you can help us make this happen. So those are the things, Ms. Denise, that makes our brick and mortar different. Okay. Small classrooms, personal protection education, color coding, bringing nothing in, taking nothing out. Even notes from parents would be done by DocuSign. We have a parent liaison, also in-kind position, that will communicate with the parent if they have an issue with, and all we do is email them the note. They just sign it and email it back. So no parents will come into the classroom. Nobody will be in that classroom except those 10 children and the two learning coaches. Multiply that times 5, and that's CTG Academy.
So the ideal part that you would always have classes where fifth graders would be in a class. You would have 9 fifth graders, 9 fourth graders, 9 kindergartners.
It all depends on how the registration goes, how the inquiries go. Okay. I have no way of, we may have.
Or will you have all levels in one class? I could have K through 5 in the safe class. It's called a safe class. Is that right?
Yes. Stay safe classroom. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we would probably do kindergarten and first grade. Probably do second and third together, fourth and fifth together. I wouldn't put a kindergarten with a fifth grader. Exactly. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And then you have enough, student learning coaches to student ratio so small. You could I can see it working well. What are your hours?
Well, that's the other thing. We want to be able to provide a little before school starting at 7, so that parents who have to go to work can bring their children. And we haven't fully made. I can't put this in stone right now, but we do want to have an after-school program so children can pick their kids up at 6, because we recognize that many of these are working parents and they need to be able to have, in general, our community needs that. So whether or not I could pull that off right now, it all depends on
the support,
because right now I'm pretty maxed at what we can do. So if we didn't have that, then it pretty much would be from like 8 to 3:30, something like that.
Okay. Thank you. And then while you were talking, another question came to mind and it left. Oh, okay. The children in your classroom, they have families that they represent. So is your school able to meet, or how do you see yourselves as meeting not only the need of the children, but the families that those children represent?
I think that our goal for year 2 is to have, as part of our wraparound service, is to have a real good social service type department, case management kind of following families. That's part of what my dream is, being able to do. Being able to do that this go round, I don't think we will have the wherewithal to do it, but grants can be written, funding can be gotten. Phase 2 of this, that would be a huge part of following families. But I would be saying something that I'm not sure I can deliver. If things go like they usually do, where people say they'll do something and then it doesn't happen.
That happens.
It happens too much. Yeah. When we have that going on, what happens is I can't not do what I said I'm going to do. Okay. So therefore, I don't overextend what I know I can do.
Okay.
So I can't say to you, I can do case management. No, I can't say that.
Not
I
in year
can't
one.
say, yeah, I want to do it,
Okay.
but I can't do it phase one.
Okay.
Phase two, yes, ma'am, because hopefully out of this conversation, we can get some ideas on grant funding. We can get some ideas where can direct us to where we can make that after school program happen, where we can, do case management. I know it's out there to be done. People do it. It's not, I'm out of my lane if I start telling you I know how to do it. I don't. I just want to do it.
Okay.
So that's why we're on Facebook right now.
Well, like I said, I really appreciate your transparency. You're very candid. You're very authentic. It's like you're not gonna, promise something you can't deliver at this time. Even though you want to do it, it's not feasible right now. Right now, it's phase one, opening your Stay Safe classes, opening your school, serving kids kindergarten through 5th grade. And I think I think you covered everything. So if we have people on the line or have any questions for Dr. Siddell, I'm pretty much, you answered the questions that I have right now. And then of course, as I share the vision, I'm going to bring back people's concerns or their questions or how to get involved. So again, before we close and say goodbye, please tell us how we can access the application to register, because you are taking registrations. And just tell us about your website and where to go to and register. How do we contact you?
Right here, you'll see the banner going CTG4ANewGeneration.com. That is the website. And on the website, you will have an opportunity to fill out a form that sort of asks some basic questions. Make sure you include your phone number and your email address, and we will contact you. We'll contact you, talk to you, and see, your level of interest, and get you on the list for children. We're accepting kindergarten through 5th grade, and I'm just out here on a limb of faith.
You're doing a great job.
I'm just out here believing God for the impossible. I love doing that. I love watching him work. So I'm just looking forward to hearing from you all. You can reach me also at that same, no, I can give you my email address. Actually, it'd be easier to reach me on my email, which is Sidell Legrand, SYDELLEGRANDE at gmail.com. That's let me just put it on here, SYDELLEGRANDEMD at gmail.com.
Okay.
Hopefully I didn't. Let me put my glasses on. That might help. Sometimes people don't need to. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay, that is nice and clear. So thank you so much. I wanted to ask if I could put your video in our Facebook group, Our Children Will Prosper.
Yes.
It's a great video that talks about the project I Am, and so your heart's in it. If you read the website, you'll get a broader view of Dr. Siddell's heart and the work she's already done. This is her latest project, which she's been at this for a while, ministering to children that are what she said was marginalized. I heard it today that many of our programs, we design programs to serve children who are marginalized and in trauma. We get grant and funding for those types of audiences. And I know for me, I can only speak from personal experience. I don't get the children. They don't come, or they don't stay. Your camp is boring. Who wants to read? And they're very candid. And then you get the children who the parents see the value in what you're delivering, and those are the ones I end up serving, that will make it regardless of
exactly
or no camp. But the truly the children we want to support is the children that we want to love on and give you the same thing we gave our own children. We're here
Right.
to help you. We'll meet you where you are, and you're not our project, to make us feel good. We need something to do. We're not trying to be saviors. We're just trying to give you the same opportunities we gave our own children, because that's how it works. And we want to see you fulfill your purpose and be great, and be proud of yourself, and have your families proud of you, and have your parents. One of my children asked me, I said, how do you get people to buy into education? How do you get our community to buy in that education is valuable? And he said, I would ask them, what is their dream? And then help them get there. And that's what we do.
Yes.
When the children come to us, what's your child's dream?
Mm-hmm.
What is your dream for your child? And whatever it is, we have a whole community to show them how to get there.
Amen. Amen.
That's what we're going to do. That's what
yes. Yes.
Whether we have a grant or not, we don't need your child as a body to fulfill our pockets with the grant dollars. That's not why we're here. But we do appreciate people seeing the work and then saying, how can we support you? And they do provide the financial funds for you, for kids that we want to serve and reach and bless.
That's right.
So we're instruments of God's love. We're called to this work. And we have other things that we do that we earn money so that so we can eat and take care of our family. So we thank God for the gifts that God has given us, that we can we don't take that for granted, that we can feed our families. But when we serve children, we want you to know that you're smart, you're not inferior. We're not an inferior people. We're blessed, strong, and powerful, and nothing can thwart the plans God has for your life or for your children's life. So we're here for the whole family, even though we don't have like caseworkers and all that. But know that when your children come to Changing the Game Academy, we're here to help not only your child, but support your family.
Absolutely. And we will do that to the best of our abilities. Thank you so much, Ms. Denise. Thank you for everyone that has tuned in, and we'll listen to this in the future. Please don't hesitate to call, email. You do carry a piece to the puzzle called Solution, and we definitely are looking forward to see where your piece fits. If you do have any kind of questions or concerns, if you want to talk to me specifically, you are definitely welcome to email me or call me. Ms. Denise, if you know her personally, I have no problem with her giving my number to her. So, whatever it works, just make it known as to what you have to offer, what you want to do, what you can do, what you're willing to do. And we just believe in God that when we put everything together, we truly are a village. And a village can make it happen. If what we have to offer, we bring to the table, it can get done beyond our wildest imaginations or dreams, because we serve an awesome God, and He will make it happen through us.
Yeah. Amen. Love you. God bless you, everybody.
God bless you, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kanithra, for coming.
Yes.
And who the other guest is.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Nice meeting you.
Dale Brown and was there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Delphine, for joining us. Awesome.
And Ms. Kanithra. Yep. Thank you so much. God bless you guys. And we'll see you soon. We will keep you updated as to where we're going with all this. So stay tuned.
Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.